There's a female apparition coming out of the TV.
This spirit was all over the place.
My ghost story began when my wife and I bought our house in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We found what we thought was the perfect place. It was big, it needed a little bit of work, but the price was right. So we bought it. Right from the very beginning, I noticed a few things were odd, but nothing I could really put my finger on. The first incident that I noticed anything really strange was one night when I fell asleep on the couch. I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a blonde woman standing between the living room and the dining room. Kind of like cleared my eyes a little bit, and she was gone. My wife was sound asleep next to me. After finding out later on then, speaking to neighbors, there was a blonde lady who lived there, a waitress, that was stabbed to death. She was stabbed in the house and died in the front yard. I was told at that time that my house was rumored to be haunted. From that point on, strange things would happen. One night, my wife wakes me up and says she's hearing things upstairs. In the master bedroom, I start taking pictures. I looked at the picture, and there's a female figure, face coming out of the mirror. I'll take a polygraph or voice stress or whatever anybody wants to give me. That is not a staged photograph. I think that the image I saw in the mirror is the spirit of the murdered waitress. Maybe she felt comfortable there by herself and just didn't want anybody living there. I think we invaded her space. I was astonished. Another incident happened where I took a picture of the TV when the TV set wasn't on. But on this picture, there's a female apparition coming out of the TV. I don't know how to explain it. She wasn't there when the picture was taken. I was stunned. Our house is done up in antiques. We were downstairs, we heard a crash. And went upstairs, and the chair was approximately 8 to 10 feet from where it was setting, busted in 1,000 pieces. Like someone had just took the chair and smashed it. We couldn't explain that. It got to the point where so much stuff was going on that my wife was scared to even go upstairs. She would sleep downstairs on the couch all the time. We finally contacted a friend of ours who's into the paranormal, and he came out and they did an investigation.
Well, Mark really didn't say a lot about the house itself, but he did email us some photographs. We actually did a lot of investigating just to make sure that it wasn't doctored. We even sent it out to a few people to actually have them look at it as well. Everything came back that these photographs were not doctored, and I really believe that we might find some interesting evidence in his home. I came with 2 other investigators. It was a simple house. I mean, it was nothing to stand out amongst a number of row houses that are there. Mark led us all down into the basement. There was something down there as well. You felt its presence. Whatever was in this home was not just upstairs. It followed you around the house. There are 3 rooms down in the basement, and Mark explained to us that in this in-between room, every night he would see a chair moved inside that room. And he would leave it there at night, and next morning he would come and that chair would be moved. We were gonna set a camera up facing that chair to see if it would do it while we were there. All of a sudden you get this blast of cold air that actually gives you goosebumps.
It's not normal.
Later on, we decided to do a first EVP session, which was in the living room. We kept hearing these noises upstairs. All of us were sitting down in the living room. One of the EVPs that we hear almost sounds like a gun or a rifle click. Mark has 4 or 5 rifles.
When I heard the sound of the gun click, the hair on the back of my neck stood up.
Whatever was there in the house was trying to materialize.
It's a disturbing thing.
Mark and I went upstairs to the bedroom. I'm going in to see this spirit or entity. I sat down on the bed on the side where the mirror picture was. The moment I started the EVP session, something poked me. It almost knocked me off the bed. And my first thought was Mark. And I was like, what is he doing? Mark was way on the opposite side of the bed. So at that point, I started to find some validity to that photo because there was a lot of activity that was taking place up in that bedroom.
Whatever it is basically wants us out of the house.
The most scary EVP that we got out of the home was from the dining room. Right at the foot of the stairs, we had a recorder set up. No one's in the area. We're all either down in the basement or in the kitchen area. And there's a female voice comes through loud and clear that says, I am the devil, dance. That was sort of verification of everything that we were experiencing that evening, that there was something in the house, there was something that was evil. It sort of fits right in line with everything that he has told us. There is a female that keeps coming up to his bedroom at night and bothering him.
I believe it is the spirit of the waitress. I was astonished.
The video that we had set up in the basement area, upon reviewing the evidence, you see two orbs that are floating around inside the video. You also see the camera being moved from right to left, from right to left. I have no idea what moved that camera. With the activity that was taking place in the house, whatever this spirit or entity was that was there was all over the place.
Steve was astounded by the amount of evidence that he picked up in the house. I was a skeptic, but now I know there is an afterlife.
Whatever's inside that house is either the devil or one of the devil's minions, and Mark needs to be very aware of it.
I'm not going to leave because it's my house. I bought it. It's time for her to move on. If one of us is going, it's going to be her.
When we first moved in,